If you have ever wanted to know what life is like as a travel agent, tune into this episode as I interview my very special guest, Anne Bain from AccessAbility Cruising. Hey, I'm Steph, and I'm obsessed with all things travel, marketing, branding, and helping you stand out from the crowd. In just under 2 years, I went from being a home-based travel agent with zero clue how to make it work in the digital world to launching an international ranking travel podcast and creating an online course to help travel agents in lead generation. Here's one thing I know for sure. There has never in the history of the world been a better time to create the travel business you've always wanted. All you need is an actionable strategy and someone to show you the way. Picture this, we're going to spend the next hour of our time together at the Swim Up Pool Bar, where over a cocktail, we deep dive into travel-related topics, mixed with a little classroom training. This show is dedicated to encouraging you to step outside of your comfort zone and into your travel business. I'll show you how I did it and how you can too. Hit subscribe now and let's get into it. If you're a travel agent wanting to onboard your perfect fit clients into your biz, download my free cheat sheet for lead generation systems you can use right now. Head to stephaniemyers.academy/cheat sheet. You're listening to Unplug in Paradise, the podcast. Hello and welcome back to Travel by Stephanie, the social podcast. If you're a brand new listener, welcome and thanks for joining the fun. My name is Stephanie Myers and I'm an MTA mobile travel agent and I'm based in the southeast Queensland, New South Wales border. Yes, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out there and I am so blessed to be able to share with you today the amazing Anne Bain. Anne has been in the travel industry for 26 years and I'm very excited to share her businesses with you. She is the owner and founder of AccessAbility Cruising, so cruising with a disability, which also branches off to her other side business as well, Fun Cruise Autism. So stay tuned, we'll get her on the show and we'll quiz her about how she got into her businesses. Thanks, Anne. Welcome on the show today.
Glad to be here, Steph.
How has your week been so far?
Yes, it's been not so busy, but just getting all important things, helping clients make decisions about bits and pieces. So,
Yeah, hard times at the moment.
The usual thing we travel agents do.
Yeah, that's right. And trying to do it all to the best of our ability with a big smile on our face.
Exactly. That's it.
So you're going to share with us today your story about where it all began as a travel agent?
Yes. So I've been in travel about 26 years now, and it all started, I was involved in sport and organising sporting groups to go places. And I sort of said to myself one day, I'm doing all this organisation, why don't I get paid for it? So that's sort of how travel all started. As I said, about 26 years ago. And I've never actually worked in a travel agency. That's one funny thing. I've always been, I guess, a mobile agent, so I can go visit anyone, anytime, anywhere. And so I've always done that. I have owned two travel agencies, so storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
They were jet set. back in the days when there was Jet Set and Travel World, which is all Hello World these days.
Yeah.
And so but even then I didn't sort of actually work in there. I had managers in my stores, so kept just doing my thing from home, as I have always done.
Oh, the lady of leisure, working from home. So they reckon.
So they say, yeah. Oh yes, so they say. So that sort of evolved and kept going along, and I ended up selling my shop fronts, and so I just sort of continued on, and back in, my gosh, that's 9 years ago now. My husband had he was involved in an accident. A car hit him while he was riding his push bike.
Oh.
So he ended up in hospital in ICU with a severe brain injury. And when he was allowed out of hospital and started his recovery process, the person who was in charge of all of his recovery therapies, so to speak, knew I was in travel, and she said to me, "Yeah, why don't you do something about, for people who have a disability?" And I went, okay. I thought about that, and I thought, and we'd always enjoyed cruising, and the first thing that we did when my husband Greg had recovered enough that he could travel was we went on a cruise to New Zealand, around New Zealand, and I sort of thought, okay, cruising's pretty good, because you'd sort of notice there's people, who might be wheelchair users, or they're on walkers, or whatever it might be, and that everyone you spoke to, we love cruising because it just allows us to do, we've virtually got our we can get around easily. That's I guess the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, elevators everywhere.
Yeah,
level ground.
Everything's there.
Wide hallways.
Your food's there. Everything's there.
Yeah.
So so that's sort of how, from there, I had a business called AccessAbility Cruising, and that's been around for a few years now, and it's going along well. There's a lot of people who are out there and enjoy cruising.
Yeah.
Who have the disability. And at the end of last year, so 2019, I also started another business called Fun Cruise Autism, and I sort of don't know why this one came about. I mean, it's in the disability sector.
Yes.
But, and it's not specifically for autism, even though it's called that, but any sort of cognitive disability, I guess.
Yeah, anyone on the spectrum.
Yeah, that's right. My eldest grandson is Asperger's, so I guess there was a bit behind that. It's just, and the idea there is it's all about the family. So, because if anyone who has a child or an adult in the family who has a disability, it's so hard for a family to get away and have a holiday.
That's true.
And and our the idea is that we have support staff on board the cruise, and they supply support hours to all the family, so not just the child or adult with the disability, but for the the parents or the carers, the caregivers as well. So everyone has respite time, and everyone can enjoy a holiday together.
Oh, cool. So you organise that, Anne?
you organise
Yes.
them to be on board while you're doing
Yes.
your itineraries for the
Yes. So
accessibility.
we just take.
Is that both? Is that on both, Anne? Sorry, is that on both accessibility cruising and fun cruise autism, or is it just on the fun cruise autism?
Well, Fun Cruise Autism is this side.
Yeah.
I guess Accessibility Cruising caters for everyone else.
Yes. Okay.
with
Right.
with a
Cool.
disability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of me in a nutshell. And of course, all this is now since 2017. I've been working with MTA Travel. So we're all contractors there. And because as travel consultants or advisors, we need to work through, I guess, for want of a better word, a host agency, because all of our clients' monies have to go into a trust account, and so MTA is my trust account hosts.
Yeah.
And so I work with MTA, and which is a fabulous family operated company.
Yeah.
So,
we're very lucky to be able to have such an awesome support network behind us. I just am so overwhelmed sometimes at the amount of work that they've put into supporting us on the daily, especially as of late. They do such a fantastic job. I do not envy any of those girls who work in head office.
No, not at all. They are they go above and beyond. It's just, they are amazing people.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more that happens behind the scenes as well that we don't necessarily know about or see, for them to be able to provide such streamlined service to us. Their processes are insane.
Yes, I agree totally. Yeah,
we've got like over 400 members now, and just trying to support us all in doing what we do every day, which is, talk about travel. Or in your case, Anne, talking about accessibility cruising and fun cruise autism.
Yes,
I do have a question. I'm going to zip back to where it all began, because I think what we were talking about was you were doing the sporting groups and organising those. I think there's a little bit of magic to be spoken about in that first little stage. So what sporting groups were you doing, and where were you taking them?
Okay, I was a coach of water polo.
Yeah.
And I took teams. It might have been our local club team or Australian country teams, university sporting teams, water polo teams.
Yeah.
And we would travel around Australia, going whatever the tournament might have been. There used to be a big tournament over in Hawaii that we used to always go to. And one time we took our Northern, I don't know what it's called now. It used to be called Northern University Sport, and we took a men's and a women's team. We did a virtually around the world tour.
Wow! With water polo.
With water polo, yes, yeah.
The places you'll go.
We played in the US, and we played in Italy, and we played in England, and yes, it was a really great tour, that one.
Oh my gosh, water polo is not an easy sport either. I remember playing in high school, and it's pretty hard work.
It is hard work, very hard work. I played many years ago.
Yeah.
And I have 3 daughters, and they all played, and it was funny after one of these. Well, not funny, I guess, but on this world tour that we did, my youngest daughter was on that tour, and she was actually offered a water polo scholarship to one of the universities in in the US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she spent 4 years over in New York at Queen's College, and yeah, had a great time, and ended up coming back with her degree and everything. So, but yeah, got there because of water polo. So it was really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, the spin-offs.
it's really cool to see how much people evolve from their interests. And you know, a little bit like you and I, but you've sparked this idea a long time ago that you meshed your interests together a long time ago, didn't you, Anne?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's amazing. You know, a lot of people sit in offices and they do their job every single day and they just bang their head up against that brick wall day in, day in, day,
Day out.
day
Yeah.
after day. And you know, I've been one of those people, and yeah, it's so nice being able to do what you love doing, and I guess, you know, at the end of the day, it's not an easy job being a travel agent. It's bloody hard work.
It is hard work, but you know the thing, and you'll say the same thing, Steph. It's when you can put together something for someone, and you know, and I find this especially in the disability sector, that you know it's just so hard for people.
It sure is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, and to put it all together, and yeah, and I say, you know, and we all do, you know, why wasn't I doing this years ago?
um, it's always like that light bulb moment, like, oh, why was I putting this off? I could have,
Yes,
you know, been 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years into this already. But sometimes we just need that little leap of faith to know that we are actually on the right track and it's going to be okay.
that's right, exactly. Yep, yep.
I do have a question about your itineraries with the accessibility cruising. So do you have particular itineraries that you pick on which cruise ships, and which cruise ships do you find are the best catering to your business?
In Australia, where we're limited to particularly our summer season, as we call it, from October through till April, when the major cruise lines like, you know, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, the bigger princess ships, etc., come down. But I find Royal Caribbean is great.
Yeah.
Personally, I love Holland America. They are, but just about every cruise line offers something with a disability. I mean, I guess my problem with accessibility cruising is a lot of my cruises are wheelchair users, and there are not many fully wheelchair accessible cabins on board cruise ships. So we have to sort of book a lot of times a fair way in advance. And that's sort of my only gripe, because it is hard to try and get those cabins sorted. But yeah, so mainly those cruise lines. Celebrity are fabulous. As I said, Royal Caribbean. I've had a lot of since Ovation of the Seas has come down to sail out of Australia. A lot of people on board her because she has a lot, even though it's quite a large ship.
Yeah.
There's good ease of access around the ship, and they have things like, you know, touch opening doors and things like that, which makes it a lot easier for people who might be full-time wheelchair users, for example.
Yeah, of course. I think all those little
yeah,
things help as well along the way, just to ease it for them. You know, they are on a holiday. They don't want to have to be worrying about, you know, little things like keys and narrow corridors and, you know,
exactly.
pokey little areas where they can't move around freely. But I agree, Ovation of the Seas has been a great addition to our Australian cruise market over that summer wave period.
Yes.
Have you been on board Ovation of the Seas?
Not Ovation. I've been on her sister ship, Quantum of the Seas.
Oh, you did your masters on Quantum, did you?
No. We just went on a holiday
Mm.
on Quantum of the Seas. Actually, it was it was her inaugural transferring from Europe across to the Asian market. So, yeah, that was an interesting thing in itself. Venturing into the Asian market.
Different,
yeah,
hey?
anyway, yeah, totally different, yes, especially when you come into Shanghai and there's what they call fog or smog or whatever it might be, being delayed by 12 hours. And
wow.
And then, like 3,000 passengers trying to get off at the same time. So, yeah, that was fun. That was fun. But that's, it's all part of experience, experiencing it.
So the rule book and the whole orderly system goes straight out the window.
Oh, sure does. Yeah, that's right.
Hello, China. Where anything goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love Ovation. I did a ship inspection on her. When was that? That was February 2017. When she first came to Brisbane. It was her first ever trip to Brisbane.
Yes.
And I was amazed. That ship is just incredible.
It is. Yeah. It's. I just love because they're sister ships, Quantum, and they. What's the word? I guess it's everything that opens and shuts is an old saying, but it's just so modern.
Yeah.
But even though it is a really big ship, there were still places you could find where there was no one around, so you could still find a spot to get away from it if you wanted to. So that's which I enjoyed. So
yeah,
but yeah. But in the like Fun Cruise Autism, we are here. I use we have it's the itineraries whatever the cruise lines do different with Fun Cruise Autism. We can do a lot of ports, so say in the Pacific where there's tendering, which is it's sort of out of the question, I guess, for a lot of people if they want to get off onto shore if they're wheelchair users.
Yeah.
But for Fun Cruise Autism, so we have mainly up Queensland coast or out to the Pacific, and using Royal Caribbean Carnival cruise lines and also P&O. And I must say P&O have been fabulous, really, really good for their access department in getting things organised for us.
Yep. The special requests and meal requests and things like that.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. They've been really, really good. And Carnival are just going to introduce, might be delayed now, but ship-wide, cruise line-wide by the end of April, they will be autism certified. So they're going to have all their staff are aware of children coming on board or adults who have
how
autism.
good is that? They really need to do some more of that on more of the cruise lines, because it is so hard sometimes. Because, like, because I'm a single mum and I take my little boy cruising, and he's not on the spectrum, but I believe every single person is on the spectrum somewhere. It just depends on where they sit. But he is, or can be, or when he was younger, it was probably a little bit harder to handle. And I was on a P&O ship, and they pulled me aside on the second day and said, you need to actually be in the kids club with your son, otherwise he can't come in.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to sit in a kids club the whole cruise with my son, just so he can be a little boy.
Yes.
Anyway, I took it really well. I just explained to the lady, our challenges at the moment. And, at that stage he was seeing an OT and a therapist, and things like that. So we had supports, and I didn't really expect her to, you know, offer any sympathy or for whatever reason. Like, they've got their guidelines and rules that they've got to go by on the ship, and it's for the safety and health of everyone. But the next day I took my son up to the kids club, and she said, "Here's your buzzer, now go."
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I just said, "No, well, you've said to me yesterday that I have to sit in here. Now we're here, I've geared up." And she said, "No, look, I've got 2 little kids in the Philippines, which is why I work so hard on cruise ships to pay for their occupational therapy. And I completely understand where you're coming from, and it wouldn't be easy being a single mum. So here's your buzzer and go." And I was beside myself, you know, like I lingered around for a while, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing here?
Just go.
I'm kind of like, are you serious? Like, she was so adamant the day before that I couldn't be in there without him, but I couldn't be in there. He couldn't be in there without me.
Without you, yes, yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener. Oh my gosh, I've got some lovely people out the front of my place whippersnippering at the moment, so hopefully that doesn't affect the recording too much. Perfect timing, guys. Anyway, on that note, Anne, you've got some websites, and how can people follow you, and how can people get in contact with you if they want to learn more about accessibility cruising and fun cruise autism?
Okay, well, I have a website for each, so www.accessibilitycruising.com.au, and the other one is Fun Cruise Autism, all one word, .com.au, and also on Facebook and Instagram, under the same things. And I also have a group of accessibility cruising called Cruising with a Disability.
Cool.
And that's just a private group, and you can, just join up there, and everyone talks about, obviously, cruising with a disability.
Cool.
And great community we have there.
Oh, excellent. That sounds great. I'll grab those details from you, and I'll pop them in the show notes so people can access them easily.
Okay, that'll be lovely.
Awesome.
Thanks, Steph.
Cool, not a problem. Thank you heaps for joining me today. We've learnt a lot about accessibility cruising, and you've got a really nice market to work with. I just hope that in the future with the cruise lines that they do learn a little bit more about people with a disability, and on the autism front as well, like having more people and educating them, I suppose, about the effects and things like that they have on different families. And it is irrespective of their age as well, like you said. So yeah, onwards and upwards in this sector, hey?
Yes, terrific. Yeah. Thank you, Steph.
No worries.
It's been great to chat with you today.
You too. Thank you, Anne. We'll chat soon. We'll hopefully catch up soon in person.
Yes, we'll do.
Thanks, Anne. You have a beautiful day.
You too, Steph.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.